And this one is a green smoothie, and it's by Rachel Detroit in her ebook called Breakfast. I can't remember what it's called, plant-based breakfast, but it's good. It's kind of tart because I ran out of bananas, and her recipe called for a banana, and so I didn't put that in, and I meant to put in a date, but then I forgot to put in the date, so it is not very sweet, but it had an apple in it. I'm going to turn the comments on. Evelina says, sorry, I'm looking for the URL and show notes for the bundle. Oh, here, I'll do it right now. I was about to do it. Just take me a second. Okay, I'm going to put it on right now. Oops. All right, so the link is on there. And here, we don't need this. Okay, so somebody said they needed the link, so I put it in there just now, and it's all set. So if you need to get the bundle, the link to the bundle is right there. Turn this little heater off. And it ends tomorrow, so I know a lot of people didn't want to buy it right away. Maybe they were waiting for their paycheck, or just didn't think it was something they wanted to spend money on. I've heard that from some people, that there's so many things that we need to purchase, so sometimes you think about, do I want to spend more money on something? And I understand that there are times where I look at the price of things and think, I don't need that, I have enough stuff. So I fully understand if this is not something that you're ready to purchase at this time, but that's not going to stop me from telling you about it. There's a bluebird. I swear this bluebird, I'll show you. He's outside my window here. I don't know if you could see him. He keeps coming to the window and banging on the window. It's so strange. I don't know why. But anyway, we are going to make, got the camera all strange now. We're going to be making the blueberry cheesecake overnight oats. And why I like this is because the funny reason, it's not that funny, but I happen to have a lot of yogurt. She's still here downloading the bundle. Great, thank you, Evelina. I have a bunch of this yogurt that I got for the Indian food, and so I was thinking, I need to find something to use this yogurt for, because I'm not one to just eat yogurt by itself and it's unsweetened. So I came upon this recipe for blueberry cheesecake oatmeal, and I thought, well, that sounds interesting. So I made it, and it's been in the refrigerator for a while, and it's really good, and it's set up nicely. So what I'll do is I'll make it for our live stream, and then I'll go back and taste the one I already made, because that one already has everything in it, and it's had time to set up. Now, I made it this morning about 5:30. So a lot of times that's how I make my cold oatmeal. I don't make it the night before, because I just like it better if it hasn't been sitting around too long. So I prefer it not overnight, but just chilled. I don't know if anyone else eats their oatmeal like that. If so, let me know in the comments. Do you ever just chill your oatmeal for an hour or two and then eat it? It doesn't have to be chilled overnight. In fact, I think Dr. Esselstyn, he just eats his rolled oats. He puts them in a bowl, and then he just puts milk on them and eats them. And they're kind of tough like that. Depending on the brand, they can be a little tough, but he likes them like that. Okay, I'm going to start making this oatmeal. And it starts with a mashed up banana. I've got my banana in the bowl. And then we're going to add everything except for the blueberries. And the reason we don't add the blueberries is because if you add the blueberries, everything will turn purple. So you'll end up with a purple oatmeal. That is how I eat them, Ryan says. So Ryan, do you mean You eat them cold without chilling them overnight, or you just eat them like Dr. Esselstyn, which is just to put them in the bowl and put milk on them. Which way? Good morning, Jill. Yeah, so Dr. Esselstyn, he just puts his oats in a bowl and he eats the same thing every day. He says he eats some kind of oatmeal, and I think he just eats rolled oats. It's Mrs. Esselstyn who eats the steel cut oats, but she eats them savory style. And I think he just puts the rolled oats in a bowl and puts plant milk, probably soy milk on them. And then he puts 3 or 4 kinds of berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries on his oatmeal. I've heard him in different shows talk about that, and that's what he does. In this recipe, we start with a banana. 1.5 cups of unsweetened plant milk is what this is Ellen Allard's recipe. And I use this almond milk that I always use. I don't know, it's probably not the best, but I like it. It's the Califia Farms. But you know, you can find the unsweetened version too. I like the original version. It is kind of lightly sweetened, I believe. And then a 1/2 cup of unsweetened plant yogurt. And remember, I have all this Kite Hill yogurt that I got for the Indian food. And I was thinking, what am I going to do with all that yogurt? Because it's a lot. And for me personally, I don't use a lot of yogurt. So I would have to think of different things to do with it. So I thought, well, is that a 1/2 cup? Yeah. I thought I'll just use it and make something that calls for yogurt. Well, you know, cheesecake oatmeal, what a good way to use it. So I'm putting the yogurt in here. And I'm doing what she says in her recipe. Her recipe calls for maple syrup. So we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. So how are you guys doing? Tell me what you're up to today. It's Saturday. And I am going to be cooking, of course. I'm doing 2 tablespoons. I'm doing some live cooking demos today. And I have a break in between one. I'm going to talk to James Sant, chef, at 12. And then I have a cooking, it's like a battle of the chefs with Rachel Detroit. And I'm going to make some of her recipes, and she's going to make a couple of my recipes at 2 o'clock Central Time. And then after that, I have a break, and I don't have any scheduled lives later today. So I'm going to go to the grocery store because I need to stock up on some stuff for tomorrow. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So I haven't been to the grocery store. I haven't been anywhere. Well, I guess earlier last week I did go to a meeting. So I was out of the house for that. But, you know, that was it. I went to the meeting and came home. I did stop at the store for couple of things, but not very many. Okay, so I've got the vanilla, maple syrup, and now 1.5 cups of rolled oats. And, oh, these are not the oats, these are the blueberries. Here's the oats. So what is your favorite way to eat oatmeal? Put that in the comments. 1.5 cups. Here's a cup. And this is Bob's Red Mill old-fashioned oatmeal. And his oatmeal is good, and it's gluten-free. This is actually the gluten-free version. Okay. Get it out of here. Let's see. I haven't heard any. Oh, here, I'm seeing some comments. I guess it didn't scroll down on me. Okay, Terry. Hi, Terry. Ryan says, do you cook with PB2 and cocoa powder? If you do that with peanut butter, cocoa powder, vanilla, and date sugar, it tastes like baked cookies. Oh, that's good to know. You know, I don't have any PB2, and I need to get some because her recipe called for it, and I didn't have any. She calls for a 1/4 cup of PB2. PB2, cocoa powder, vanilla, date sugar. I'm going to write that down. See, I listen to you guys. Of course, I don't have a pen in here right now. I just had like 14 pens in here. I'll remember it. I like steel cut oats with cherries, blueberries, and cocoa powder. Well, that's good. How many servings does it make? And then Jill says, I'm watching you now, then Kathy Hester and Cheryl after you. I know there's so many people going on. I don't like PB2. I put all that in my cooked oats plus black pepper for the for the turmeric. Love it hot or cold, down after cooking, or cooled down after cooking. Okay, and then it has a fourth of a cup of peanut butter. According to her, it's 2 servings, according to Ellen, but we'll talk about that when we get done with it. And I'm using regular peanut butter because I don't have PB2. And like somebody said, I'm not a big fan of it. I like hot steel cut oats with fruit and ground flax, a few nuts. Yeah, I like it that way too. PB2, easier to stir than cold peanut butter. Yeah, that's true. But I don't like it. I've ordered it. In fact, I had some in my pantry and I went to get it and it was rancid because if you don't use it after a while, it goes bad. I just learned that peanut butter powder is highly processed. Huh. Good. See, there you go. I don't use it. I tried to like it, but every time I try it, I don't like it. So then I just never use it. I've been boring with oats, excited to try some of these new recipes. Thank you for showing this one. You know, the one that I really like, that peanut butter mixed right in, but this peanut butter has been sitting at room temperature for a couple hours. So, and it's a real soft peanut butter. I get this Nut and Better brand, and it's from Canada. It has nothing but peanuts. It doesn't have any palm oil or anything. That's it, a little sea salt. Okay, so the peanut butter, she doesn't say what kind of PB2 in her recipe. She just says PB2. And then a tablespoon of chia seeds. Another thing too is I'm not a big fan of chia seeds in food. So I tend to use a little bit less. So I think I put like 2 teaspoons in mine. So I put chia seeds in my smoothies where I can't really taste them. But something about the texture of them is not that appealing to me. I'm just weird. Okay, and then 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And I have this kind of maple cinnamon one. And it tastes, I love this stuff. Highly recommend it. It's from Fresh Jack's. It has cinnamon, coconut sugar, a little sea salt, and dried maple syrup. And it's really good. It's called maple cinnamon topping. And I put this on a lot of stuff. PB Fit. Okay, yeah, I've heard of PB Fit too. Highly processed. I like it only in my oats. I also have cashew powder. The powders are great when traveling. Yeah, I bet that's true. So see the texture of this? You know, when I made this, I didn't know how many servings she intended it to be for. So I was just mixing it up and, you know, looking at it, thinking this would feed a family of 4. It's for 2 servings. So, you know, you have to look at this and maybe scale back if you don't eat as much oatmeal. Like I normally have a half a cup of oatmeal. So if I were to make this again, to have for myself, I would put it into 3 servings, not 2, because it's a lot more than I eat at one time. Because I eat greens and have a smoothie and have oatmeal. So that's kind of a lot of stuff for one time for me. Okay, so I have she says to put it in mason jars. So that's what I have here. I have 2-cup mason jars. But if you didn't want to use mason jars, you know, you could put it in serving bowls. Okay, so anybody else? Who likes savory oatmeal? Because I love savory oatmeal. That's probably my favorite way to eat oatmeal, is to use steel cut oats and turn it into kind of a porridge with some kind of like onions and just kind of savory ingredients. I like it like that. And that's the way Ann Esselstyn has it every day. She has a savory version of steel cut oats. Can you tell I'm losing my voice? I don't, I think it's from talking so much. Okay. All the plant-based doctors I listen to say it's not bad and highly recommend it. 2 servings, that would feed me for a week. Yeah, I know. Look at this. When I serve it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the jars and not eat it right from the jar because it's so much. But I'll store it in these jars just because that's what I have. Okay, I'm going to divide it up a little bit more evenly. So it's very soupy. I'm too scared to try savory oatmeal. It's really good. If you like risotto, it's like eating risotto. Anyone ever eat risotto? Kind of like a rice dish that you saute onions and stuff, and then you add seasonings, spices, and then you add the arborio rice and broth, and you cook it slowly in a skillet and let it all absorb the liquid as you're cooking it. That's risotto. And savory steel cut oats reminds me of risotto. I know it sounds strange. Okay, so we've got this part done, and then the last part, that's when you add your blueberries. I like the idea of making groat congee. Yeah, congee is kind of the Asian version of savory oats, but it's usually made with rice. So the Japanese have a version of that too, where they take white rice and they cook it till it's really soft, and then they add seasonings to it, and that's what you serve people when they're sick and don't have an appetite. I can't remember the name of it in Japan, but my mother used to just call it, the Japanese word for rice is gohan, and she called it soft gohan. And so if you were sick, she said, she'd say, oh, we're going to have soft gohan. And, she would put the umeboshi plums in it, those real sour plums, because they're supposed to aid in digestion. I didn't know that at the time, but the umeboshi plums are supposed to help you digest your food better and relieve an upset stomach. So she would give us the umeboshi plums. They're little sour plums that you put inside rice balls. And then she would also put it in that soft rice, which is like congee. So that was like something to eat when your stomach's upset. I have a few walnuts, and I'm just going to put a few. That was one of her optional add-ons, was walnuts. I'll put a few walnuts on here. Not too many. I'll save these for another time. And then we have it. We have our overnight oats, cheesecake. Oh, I do that Japanese styled rice when I'm ill too. Sometimes just put umeboshi in the rice bowl, pour the green tea over it. It helped with morning sickness. Yeah, that's what the Japanese say about the umeboshi plum. It's like, some people are helped by ginger. Some people are helped by the umeboshi plums. Okay, so these are the ones I made earlier. These are the ones I made now. The ones I just made, I'm going to put them in the fridge. And then look, I have oatmeal for like a week. So this might be something good to take to my friend, the one who's not feeling well. So maybe tomorrow or Monday when I'm not so busy, I can take it to her. Oh, by the way, my pizza from last night. How many of you watched me make the pizza? Anybody watch me make the pizza? I love it when you tell stories about your mother. Thank you, Lydia. My pizza from last night, I have a little one left over, and I want you to see it. Isn't that pretty? And it holds together really well. I had this pizza last night for dinner, and I have some left over, and it was really good. So be sure and watch that live stream about making the pizza. It's in the bundle in the pizza, plant-based pizza by Rebecca Stoner. So I have some pizza left. And my husband ate it for dinner too, and he liked it. He said it was good. Okay, I'm going to take one of these, and I think I'm going to put it in a little bowl test. I got to watch the pizza replay. I watched pizza. Really, that pizza was good. Um, I do have to say that as good as it was, I liked my own version of pizza a lot better. uh, so, I've taught a bunch of pizza classes, and I have my own version of pizza. And I have to admit, I liked mine better. So much so that for next year's bundle, I had this idea. I'm going to do a pizza ebook. And I'm also going to include, because hers didn't include how to cook the pizza very well and how to make it individual. So, in mine, oh, I saw the Will Your World San Francisco Oats. It has lentils in it, right? I think I was looking through there and I saw that. So, one of the things that I like to do with pizza is I like to cook it on a pizza stone outside in the summertime. Like I like to have the family over, and this works really well for people who, don't like everything. Like, grandkids don't like onion on their pizza usually, but other people like it. So what you do is you make the dough and then you roll it out in small individual pizzas. Let people put whatever toppings they want on it. And then I take it out to the really hot grill, have my baking stone on the grill, and I slap each one on the baking stone. 5 minutes, it's done, and then everybody's got their own little pizza that they made themselves. And my grandkids love that. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this oatmeal because it's so much, and I don't eat that much oatmeal in a sitting. See, about half of it is about what I would eat, and then the rest of it, that's another serving. So that way I can have 2 servings per jar. And then we can taste it. Look, as soon as you take it out, it starts turning purple, which is fine because I'm going to eat it. Mm. Evelina says, I only bought the bundle this year because I enjoyed what you had in the bundle last year. Oh, thank you. Mm. This is really good. It does kind of have a cheesecake aspect to it. I can't say that it tastes exactly like cheesecake, but the yogurt makes it taste like cheesecake. It's from this ebook, Rise and Shine, and it's Ellen Allard, and it's in here. And she has some really good recipes in her oatmeal book. In fact, I made her pecan pie steel cut oats the other day, and I love that. I put the rest of them in the freezer. I really enjoyed that one. And this one for an overnight type oats. This one is really good. Pizza oats. Huh, that's a good idea. Yeah, a pizza. One of the things that I want to talk about with pizza is how to cook it on a stone, how to cook it indoors, outdoors, how to make individual pizzas with different toppings. And I also am thinking about buying a pizza oven. I've always thought about getting one of those, small pizza ovens that gets up to like 800 degrees and making some really good homemade pizza dough, maybe sourdough pizza dough. I make sourdough bread, so I always have sourdough starter. So it would be a lot more involved if I make that. And then also, I might pizza for the next year's bundle. Looking forward to it. And if I collect any more Asian recipes, maybe it will be a combination of Thai, Japanese, Korean, and Vietnamese recipes, and my favorite ones. So I might create an ebook with, some of those recipes because I don't see any Korean recipes and I haven't seen any Vietnamese recipes much. So, I think I might create like a compilation of my favorite Thai, Vietnamese. I'll throw in even a few Japanese that didn't make it to my other 2 ebooks because those are the things that I really love to make. And I think those are things that other people would enjoy if they knew about them. So I may do 2, the Asian kind of different cultures in Asia, and then the pizza. So anyway, that's what I'm already planning next year because we have a deadline and I want to get it done way before the deadline. So hey, I think you guys should make this sourdough bread class. Oh my gosh. I have a sourdough bread class. I have a class on my website, chef-julia.com, called Breads and Quick Breads. And in it, I make a whole wheat sourdough bread from start to finish. And I taught that class, it was like 2 years ago. And there are people that use that recipe all the time and they love it. So I don't have to redo that. If you want to know how to make bread, like regular bread and sourdough bread, just look up that class, Breads and Quick Breads. Let's see, I'm just learning sourdough. My starter is in formation stage. I hope to use it for pizza. I can't find a small enough recipe. My mother is Italian. My grandfather built a wood oven outside. The pizza was good. Those are good memories for me. Oh, thank you, Lydia. Yeah, I'm going to get a pizza oven that you hook up to a propane tank. And then I'm going to make some sourdough pizza, and I'm going to make some different toppings because my toppings, I've made some really good toppings, but I can make some more and more sauces. Like there's a class already on my website called Pizza, and I taught it in 2022, and it has like a pesto sauce, a red sauce, all kinds of sauces. Um, what a wonderful memory. You're so much younger than me. I bet you're all younger than me because I'm going to be 70 this year. So oh, I can't wait. A lot of people aren't looking forward to getting older, but I don't mind because I'm celebrating all year and doing stuff. I'm going to have a party. I'm going to go to Spain and Portugal and walk the Camino de Santiago. I'm going to Japan. I'm going to California. I'm going to just have a great year. So I'm celebrating turning 70 all year. And I'm happy to be turning 70, and thank God I'm healthy and don't have any aches and pains, any health problems. Jill says, this is my first bundle too. It's amazing. Yeah, we do this every year and it gets better every year. And we're told that we have to have a high quality bundle option. And I feel kind of bad because mine has some errors in it. And I hope you don't find them, but I'm sure you will. When I was doing my ebook, my youngest daughter, who's in her 30s, she did the ebook for me. She formatted it and took my recipes and put it in here, took my photos and put them in here. And we were also working on her wedding. Liz says, I love turning 70 and I had a birthday party. It's a wonderful age. Yeah, I think it is because we made it to the age of 70. I know a lot of people I went to high school with didn't make it to 70. So, I'm kind of glad I made it this far. But anyway, when I was looking through my own ebook, I kept finding these mistakes. And I said, oh, no, it's too late now. And we were working on her wedding. She got married in December. So we were really busy working on all this stuff. And the deadline for the ebook was coming up. And she kept putting it off and putting it off. And she finally got it. And we turned it in. And, my mind was elsewhere on this wedding and stuff. So, now that I look at it, I think, oh, no, there's some little errors in here. So I'm going to go in and edit it and fix it up. And probably it's going to get turned into a regular paperback. So I'm going to have to fix it up. So I apologize if you run across something that doesn't make sense. Just send me an email and I'll explain it to you. I don't think it's that bad. But okay, Evelina says, you're active. I aspire to be like you. Well, thank you. Lydia says, my son owns pizza restaurants and makes sourdough pizza. Yeah, that's a goal of mine. I have sourdough starter right now. And also I'm taking a sourdough bread class April the 7th from a guy who owns a sourdough bread company. And he's a friend of mine and he makes the best sourdough bread in town. And what he's going to do is he's going to give us his starter to start with. Okay, how do I learn about your 21-day challenge? I joined your Facebook group yesterday. I'm interested in doing the March 11th one. Okay, let me show you something. I'm going to start a 21-day challenge on March the 11th, and I wrote an ebook for that, and I printed it out, of course, because I print everything out, because remember how old I am? That's what old people do, is they print stuff out. And in the ebook, it talks about the daily dozen and how I lost my 30 pounds and have kept it off for 4 years almost. But, it kind of goes through all the different meals that follow Dr. Greger's How Not to Die Daily Dozen plan. So you can get this at my website, chef-julia.com under the shop section where it has all the ebooks. But you don't have to get this to do the challenge. The 21-day challenge, all it is, I just go on there on the support group every day. And instead of talking about the bundle, which I'm sure you're all sick of, I talk about the 21-day challenge. And I post what I eat every day. I'll post like a picture of all the food I've eaten. Like for this morning, what I would do is I would take a picture of my smoothie, my oatmeal, and then my greens, which I haven't eaten yet, but I'll go in after this is over and make my Japanese greens, and I'll take a picture. And then at lunchtime, if I have that leftover pizza, then I will. Oh, Ellen's watching. Hey, Ellen's the author of the book, the Rise and Shine book, and she's watching. So that's wonderful, Ellen. If you want to put your link to in the comments, go ahead and put your link. If somebody wants to get the bundle through you, I don't care. I'm happy to share the wealth. So Ellen, I love your ebook. I'm not just saying that. I love it because you were so creative. And this blueberry banana cheesecake is so good. And I have so much of it because I made it ahead of time, and I have 4 jars of it. So Ellen's got her link up here. If you want to help Ellen out and get the bundle through her instead of me, go right ahead. But yeah, she has been so nice. I was on her show on Instagram, and I had a good time getting to know her. She and I think, are the same age or close to it. And what I love to see is that, when we're getting older, let's see, Lydia says, I'm always intimidated to make pizza. Yeah, I'm gonna show you how to make it from start to finish. But yeah, sometimes people are intimidated. When you're getting older, there's so much stuff going on, technology and changes in the world. And a lot of my friends, they're kind of staying in the past, and they don't do everything that I do. So I love to see people in my age group doing stuff. Ellen says you can always change up the fruit, use strawberries instead of blueberries. Great. So yeah, Hilda. Hey, Hilda, how are you? Do you make whole food plant-based tamales? I would love a class on how to make delicious tamales. The problem with tamales, Hilda, is the major ingredient in tamales is some kind of fat. So it's masa, corn flour, mixed with a lot of shortening. So then what happens is it's very, very fattening, really. The fillings aren't bad. So what you have to do to make a tamale is figure out a way to make the masa filling on the masa shell without using any kind of fat. Well, that's not easy to do because, you end up with a dense dough. I've tried similar things, and, if you just add water and tahini or something, it's not going to be the same. It's never going to have the flavor of a tamale, but it's certainly something I can try. So Hilda, I will try to work on a tamale recipe for one of my classes. I've got my classes online for the whole year. So if you go to my website, chef-julia.com, look at my classes. I have several. The next one I have is called, Belinda says, I'm enjoying all the bundle live streams. Thank you, Belinda. I plan to keep doing live streams after the bundle's over. Somebody was telling me that they would like it if I did what I eat in a day in the mornings. And now that I've gotten used to this time, I could see myself coming back from my walk. Hello, Anne from Annapolis. I could see myself coming back from my walk and just, getting myself a little ready. I don't have to have a lot of makeup, just a little. And my hair, see, the problem is my hair after I come back from the walk, it's all like crazy, but I'll just put it in a ponytail. And then what I plan to do is, show you, I'll make my smoothie and I'll show you what I'm having for breakfast. Evelina says there's all sorts of tamales. Some are naturally dense. So oil-free works for me. I use pumpkin puree. All of my carnivores ate them up. Hey, well, that's pretty good, Evelina. Maybe you need to send me your recipe. So yeah, I'll work on that, and let your voice rest. You deserve a break. Yeah, it's just from talking for hours a day. The oats, Lydia says the oats look really good. I'm going to make them. They really are good. And, like I said, if this is too big of a serving for you, eat half the amount, and then it'll last longer. You'll have it for 4 days instead of two. But I like what Ellen said when I was talking to her, that if you're new at whole food plant-based eating and you're hungry, hello from Minnesota. Lydia says, I'd love it if you continue making your lives. Thank you, Lydia. Um, if what she was saying is, in the beginning when you're hungry and you want to eat, because sometimes when you give up all the standard American diet food, you're not used to eating this way yet. And maybe you're hungry and you want to fill up and you want to eat something. Well, oatmeal is really good for that. And so it's a good way to get yourself really established in whole food plant-based eating, is get used to eating oatmeal. And I think that was a game changer for her, is what I remember her saying, is having good oatmeal. So she's got tons of really good oatmeal recipes. And I noticed in her book, she has several savory oatmeal recipes. And I liked the sound of several of them. They were different from ones I've made. I've made a lot of stuff. So when I see somebody else's, like she has a savory lentil dal oatmeal. So it's got kind of Indian spices, a spicy masala steel cut oats, savory kale mushroom steel cut oats. Now that sounds kind of like my Japanese shiitake mushroom oatmeal. So, she's got a lot of good ones in here. And since I've got a bunch of my own recipes. Let's see, hi from Georgia. Yeah, so Ellen, she must have agreed with what I said, because she said, yep. But I have a whole breakfast ebook full of oatmeal recipes, but I'm kind of tired of mine. So when I saw hers for pecan pie oatmeal and blueberry cheesecake oatmeal, I thought, well, I don't make that. And I had this yogurt to use up from my Indian wrap. So I thought, well, what a perfect way to use up my yogurt. But I think I would buy all the stuff to make this again. And I don't think I would really change anything. I didn't think I would like the chia seeds, because I don't usually put chia seeds in my food, but you can't really taste them, so they don't really bother me. Ellen said, I just had my savory oats for breakfast and they were delicious. I'll put a picture of it in my Instagram profile today. Which savory oats recipe was it, Ellen? Let us know. Okay, well, you guys have given me some good ideas. The person who told me about eating the cookie oatmeal, can you put that in the comments again so that I can see it at the very end? I won't have to scroll back so far. I think it was date, sugar, and I can't remember what else was in it. Carrot cake oatmeal is good too. Yeah, she has a recipe for carrot cake oatmeal. And remember the carrot cake energy balls, they were really good. I have 2 left. I put them in the freezer. I put the carrot cake energy balls in the freezer. I put the homemade Snicker bars in the freezer, because I was just eating too much stuff. I was like, oh, last night when I went to bed after eating 4 pieces of pizza, my homemade pizza, I was like, oh my gosh, I've eaten so much food, because I normally don't cook this much plant-based food. So speaking of that, I was going to tell you what I'm up to the next day or so. I am going live again today with Rachel Detroit I'm going live at noon with James Sant. The one I had this morning is called Savory Kale Mushroom Steel Cut Oat. Yeah, I saw that in the book. That sounds really good. Darlene says, hi, good morning, everyone. So at noon Central Time, I'm going to go live with James Sant. And James Sant has a book. I can't remember the name of his book, but he's really big on sprouting. And he's really big on making microgreens. And he does it all himself. And he has his point of view is the living kitchen, where he tries to eat everything that has some kind of sprouting going on, or some kind of really good microgreens for the nutrients. So I'm curious to see what he says about his culinary point of view. And he's got a really cool kitchen. Like, I don't know how, I'm going to really look at it today, because he's going to be in it. He's got a really cool kitchen, and this is probably not politically correct for me to say, but he's really good looking. And, I mean, why not spend some time with a good looking guy? Don't tell my husband. Okay, so she's got milk, date sugar, sweetener, PB powder. Okay, that sounds good. Cocoa powder. All right, that was it. That was what I was not thinking of. Yeah, all those different recipes sound great. So I'm going to be at noon with James Sant, and then at 2 o'clock, Rachel Detroit and I are doing Battle of the Chefs. And Ryan says it reminds me of no bake chocolate peanut butter cookies. Chef Sant is very good looking. Oh, see, she said it too. So I'm not going to be in trouble. Two people said it. He has a twinkle in his eye too. He's real friendly. He rolls his own oats. I'm interviewing him tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Great. Uh-oh. Evelina says, I'm so telling your husband. He wouldn't care. He knows I say I compliment other people, but he's very secure. So at 2 o'clock, we're going to be making one another's recipes. Jill is in Pueblo, Colorado. Cool. So, and then I'm going to go to the grocery store because tomorrow is the last day of the bundle, and I am going to make a bunch of things tomorrow. And I need to stock up on some food. So tomorrow I'm making the Bunny Sunrise smoothie, which has bananas and carrots in it. That sounds good. And then I'm also making a waffle, and the waffle is called Orange and Poppy Seed Waffle with chocolate sauce. And this one is from, oh, I can't remember. I have it written down somewhere else. But yeah, I can't remember which ebook it's from, but I do have it written down, and I will say that's frustrating. And then I'm going to make rice paper bacon. Ryan says, I work at a raw restaurant in Chicago back in 2004. It's an interesting way to learn how to prepare food. Yeah, I bet it is. You really learn about, enjoying things in their natural form. So I'm making the rice paper bacon, the poppy seed orange waffles with my waffle iron. And the later on, I'm going to make espresso oatmeal cookies. That was in, let's see, what brand of decaf green tea do you like? It's made by Republic of Tea. So they have little tea bags, or little round, naturally wrapped tea bags, and it's Republic of Tea decaf green tea, and it tastes really good. I use 2 tea bags because there's a lot of water in my cup. So I'll make the espresso oatmeal cookies, and then somebody said they wanted me to make the nori spring roll wraps. So it's like a piece of rice paper, and then it has a piece of nori seaweed on it, and then all the vegetables and noodles and different things. So what time tomorrow? Well, 9 o'clock, I'm going to make the waffles and rice paper bacon. I have one interview tomorrow. When are you demoing the rice paper bacon? In the morning at 9 when I do the waffles. And that's actually a really good demo to watch because it's a little tricky. And if you mess it up, it doesn't turn out. And then they freeze really well, so they're good to have around. And it's just rice paper. There's nothing weird in it. It's just rice paper and some seasoning. So it doesn't really have a lot of anything, but there's something about the liquid smoke and the taste of it that makes it really good. So the nori fresh rolls have all the vegetables, and we can even put some little pieces of sesame ginger tofu in there, and then wrap it all up, and it's got a layer of seaweed and a layer in the rice paper. If you're not a seaweed fan, and some people aren't, just leave the seaweed out. But I'll show you how to roll the rice paper wrappers so they come out right every time, because believe it or not, people make these spring rolls or summer rolls all the time, and they have trouble rolling them up. They can't get them to stay together. They can't get them to not split. They have all kinds of trouble with them. And I've had some practice. So 9 a.m. would be 12 o'clock. No, you guys are an hour ahead on the East Coast. So 9 o'clock Central is 10 o'clock Eastern time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And then I'm also going to make my brown rice bowl, because that's what the recipe is in my Japanese ebook. It's brown rice bowl with rice paper bacon. And that's what the rice paper bacon recipe is in my ebook. So I'm going to make that bowl, which I made for the State Fair of Texas. And it was very popular. It was a recipe for like a brown rice salad that was topped with the rice paper bacon. And it's a really good thing to take places with you when you're asked to bring a dish to share, because the non-plant-based people, they don't know anything about it. Ellen says, I always have trouble rolling summer rolls. Okay, well, maybe I can give you some tips to make it easier. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm not sure what time I'm doing the fresh rolls and the brown rice bowl, but I'll post it. And then tomorrow I'm interviewing, oh, it's daylight savings time is fall back. It's on Sunday, so I think it is tonight. I'm interested to see if I can figure out how to make bacon flavored kale chips to add greens in the morning. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Sunday night is the fallback, or the spring forward, sorry. So yeah, I'll make several things tomorrow. I'm kind of doing almost like a live streaming marathon for the last day of the bundle. We'll see if my voice holds out. The only interview I have tomorrow is with Chuck Underwood. He is the brand new vegan. And I thought it was funny because he wrote me and said that he was nervous. He wasn't sure. He was stressed out about what he was going to do. I think he thought he was going to have to cook, but he doesn't have to cook. Okay, what times are you on today? I am on again at noon Central Time. That's 1 o'clock Eastern Time with James Sant. And then I'm on again at 2 o'clock Central Time. That's 3 o'clock Eastern Time with Rachel Detroit. And she's going to cook 2 of my recipes, and I'm going to cook 2 of her recipes. And the recipes I'm cooking of hers are Fiesta potatoes with cheese sauce and Japanese sweet potatoes with almond butter. So then she's cooking a couple of my recipes. So we'll see. I think it's going to be fun anyway. And we're friends, so we're just kind of messing around. We'll have a good time no matter what. Okay, everybody. Well, unless you have any more questions, remember, eat your oatmeal. Thank Ellen for such good recipes. And don't forget, I showed this earlier, but those of you who came on later, last night's video, 5 o'clock last night, I did the video on the pizza. And I'm really proud of my pizza because it holds together well. It tastes delicious. It has fake, mozzarella cheese on it. It's got fresh basil. And I made some pulled mushrooms, barbecue pulled mushrooms, and that's all on the video. Rachel is adorable. Yes, she is. I like her. She is a lot of fun, and she's very nice and helpful. She is the kind of person that she goes the extra mile to help people. And, I've asked her a lot of times for technical help because, she's the age of one of my kids, and she grew up knowing how to do everything. It's second nature to my kids. They know how to do everything that I have to learn how to do. It's just like they know how to do it. Terry says, I do enjoy seeing how to make the recipes in the bundle. Thank you. Yeah. And that's why I'm doing this, because this year more than ever, now that I have the technology where I can go live a lot easier and it's more, it's better quality, whatever. I'm able to show my whole cooking area because I used to go live like Facebook Live and stuff where you have a very limited screen, kind of that vertical view, and that doesn't really give you a lot of space for making stuff. So this way is a lot easier, and I can make spread out more. So I think it works out better. And if I can just maintain my voice, I would be fine. Evelina says, thanks for the recipe. I'll gather the courage to try Savory Oats recipe for the first time in my life. I have your ebook downloaded from the bundle. Great. Thank you for attending, Evelina. And thanks, everybody, for coming in on these live streams. I do appreciate y'all. See, listen, I sound like I'm from Texas, y'all. And everybody have a great day. I can't wait to go out and go to the grocery store. That sounds crazy, but I've been so busy. We appreciate you and all you do. Thank you. Ellen's got to run. Granddaughter's dance. Thanks for the shout out. Oh, yes. Thank you, Ellen. Oh, and Ellen fell in love with my Japanese greens. So she did an Instagram story where she was eating my Japanese greens and she was really excited about it. And I thought, wow, you can't fake that. So she really did like the Japanese greens because adding the little bit of tahini, soy sauce, sesame seeds, it transforms the greens and makes them taste so good. So then you don't mind eating them. So thank you for that shout out. And I will see you all. Hopefully, I'll see you later today on some of the other lives. And don't forget, here's my link to the bundle. If you haven't gotten your bundle yet, you can order it. And remember that it will go away tomorrow at midnight, and we will not release this bundle again. And we may never have a bundle that has quite this much stuff in it because $8,000 worth of content, that's pretty good. You can have you can have content for a year, just not even look at all of it, look at it in small parts. So anyway, are your Japanese greens like the ones sold in Denny's in Japan? The spinach greens? Yeah, it's kind of like that because my mother's way of making greens was she would boil spinach and then she would squeeze all the liquid out and she would chop them up a little bit and she would put Japanese sesame seeds on them and kind of it was like a sesame dressing, like she used sesame oil and soy sauce and stuff and mixed it in with the greens and then put sesame seeds on it. Well, my version is just like that, except I use Swiss chard, spinach, and kale, baby kale, like power greens or super greens. And I squeeze all the liquid out. And then I put a little tahini because I don't use oil. So a little bit of tahini, soy sauce. And then I put vinegar, but I use Japanese vinegar, like ume plum vinegar, just a few drops. And then I sprinkle the sesame seeds on the top. So it's very similar to what my mother used to give me growing up, but it's my own version. And I eat a lot more. Like I go through a pound box of greens every 2 days. I eat like half of that giant box every day just because, I'm trying to get a lot of my greens in. So everybody make some Japanese greens. It's really probably one of the best recipes in my ebook, and certainly something I make. I actually do really eat that every day. So I'll see you guys later today. And thank you all. Evelina says, I'm a happy camper. So my girls will be. They love those. Yeah, make my Japanese greens. You won't go wrong. Bye, everybody. I'll see you later.